Alright guys, I'm doing a book review today on Mr. Tom Mckay, who wrote the book Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate and has the YouTube channel Flip Anything USA. He's gotten really popular over the last couple of months on YouTube. He went from like 3,000 to 10,000 subscribers and started popping up in my feed, which inspired me to buy his book, which he takes the opportunity to say you should buy in just about every video he talks about, and says it's a great book, it can make you millions. So I said to myself, what the heck, why not? I'll go ahead and grab it. I went and purchased the Kindle copy. Hopefully that focuses and you can see it. And I bought it here instead of in paperback form. 20 bucks to buy the paperback, 10 bucks to get the Kindle version. It's the same book, so I just went with this. I did read through the entire thing in about 4 hours. Quick read, not too difficult to get through, but reads well. You know, it's not boring. It's not one of those books that's so full of, large legalese jargon and things like that that you kind of just find yourself reading the same paragraph over and over again. No, it reads, as he writes at the beginning, like a letter from a friend to another explaining what you can do to do better in real estate investing. Now, the interesting thing about this book, I didn't really know what to expect. I'm a buy and hold landlord. I like to buy properties, rent them out, hold them long term. I wasn't exactly sure which method of making money with real estate that this book would cover, or maybe it would cover multiple, and it did cover multiple, but it focused primarily on wholesaling and flipping properties. So what he's trying to help you learn how to do is find areas where you can target them with mailers and reach out to the people who live in that area and own properties, find deals that someone is willing to sell at around 30 to 35% under market value. That's what he writes in the book. I'm looking for 35% under market value that I can then buy and either assign the contract over to another buyer and pick up a quick, finder's fee, wholesaling thing in the middle, or buy, maybe renovate, maybe remodel, do a little bit, and then flip the property. He does go on later in the book in one chapter to cover the buy and hold topic of being a landlord with a small apartment building that he mentions that had I can't remember how many units, but it was maybe like an 8 or 10 unit apartment building. And he specifically says that while you can make money like that, and he did profit, he says he profited off of it, it wasn't ideal to him because it was such a hassle. He would rather deal with commercial real estate buildings that may only have 2 toilets instead of 10 toilets, and concrete floors instead of carpeted floors, and people who worked there from 9 to 5 instead of lived there 24/7. And so while he does briefly touch on the subject of the buy and hold landlord with rental properties and things like that, really the key focus of this book is to teach you how to make money buying an under market value deal and then selling it at market value as quickly as you can. He mentions in the book, nobody ever got hurt taking a profit. So if you get the opportunity to make some money, cash in on that sweet, sweet green, my guy. He's a pretty no-nonsense individual. He doesn't have a lot of fluff in his books. He's not trying to make himself out as some big, grandiose celebrity guru type person. It's a pretty meat and potatoes, bare bones. This is what you can do to find deals, target the person, retarget them and target them over and over again until you finally get them to actually bite and take the bait and contact you. And then once they've contacted you, how do you respond in a phone call? How do you respond in an email? What do you do with a letter? So really the book breaks it down literally step by step. Go to your county tax assessor and get a zip code, a map zip code of different properties. Rank file the people who own the properties based on who lives close to it, who lives far away. And then he says, and then you're going to send out a mailer. Here's an example of what your mailer can look like, and he voluntarily says use his. Make it look like this, make the envelope look like this, make it look like it's written out in a proper way or typed in a certain way so that it doesn't look too auto-generated by a computer, but also you don't want to make it too personal because then you waste too much time writing. So he gives you very detailed descriptions as to what you can do to actually make that mailer not just end up in the trash can, like my YouTube channel. And so he gives you the really good detailed explanation of what you can do with the first mailer. And then he does it with your follow-up mailer. What should you do with your second letter? Okay, when the second letter doesn't work, what do you do with your third letter? How do you keep contacting these people? He then talks about real estate agents and how you should use them. And he talks about how 20% of the agents do 80% of the work and 80% of the agents only get 20% of the work. He talks about the high-performing, kind of more antisocial agent. Maybe you should stay away from that person because they're more in it for themselves. And then he talks about how there's the new agents that are high-performing and hungry and want to work hard. They're new, that they're trying to get themselves started, and that these people are like employees. He even says that it's like having an employee, because they'll work extremely hard for you to bring you deals, and you only have to pay them when they actually do something successful. So he really has I don't want to call it pessimistic, but a realistic view. A shrewd, I don't know if that's the right, I'm not trying to paint him in a negative light here. It's not. It's a realistic view of how you should be thinking about talking to other investors in the area, because you don't want to accidentally tip people off to deals you may be looking at, because you do want to look out for number one first, right? We're all looking out for numero uno. But at the same time, treat people fairly and kindly. He talks multiple times about giving people more than the bare minimum commission in order to show them that you're appreciative of the work they've done for you. So I'm not trying to paint him as somebody who's like a selfish, shrewd businessman, but he's smart and realistic with how you should talk to people, how you should interact with them, who you should reach out to for help, how you build your network, how you target people, retarget them, and retarget them, and eventually get yourself that diamond in the rough where you find a deal, hopefully 20, 30, 40% under market value, and then what you do with it from there, well, that's on you. I recommend that you buy this book. It was an easy read, a quick read, took me about 4.5 hours, not difficult at all. Honestly, I think Tom seems like a really good guy. He seems like an honest guy, and he seems like he genuinely wanted to impart his wisdom and years of experience on you and me, the reader. So if you're a wholesaler or a flipper or somebody who's looking to get started with not very much money and experience, this is a decent book for you. He does talk about starting with zero money, but the large majority of the deals that he gives examples over are deals that he did put money down, and he did have money to get started. Now, his very first deal, he managed to swing a seller financing where he wouldn't owe any payments for the first 6 months, and he was able to rent out the property for 6 months and build up what his down payment would be. It was a once-in-a-lifetime fantastic deal. Now, I'm sure he would say if you look hard enough and long enough, you'll be able to find that yourself. And he's probably right. He's probably right about that. But the majority of deals that he talks about, he really does talk about, hey, I got good seller financing, owner financing, or I did something with an assignee, a wholesaling contract, I found something and moved it over to somebody else. A bunch of different ways to make the project work for you. Even the buy and hold landlord like me, who's not really interested in wholesaling, who's not really interested in flipping properties, can still find a golden nugget within this book. And for $10, I think it's worth it. There's some good contracts in there that might be beneficial for you to have on hand. There's some good perspective to learn from him. And if you can find a property that's 35% under market value as a buy and hold landlord, well, then that does a whole lot for your bottom line when it comes to cash flow on a rental. I'm very interested in finding properties like that. So I will be trying to figure out how I can incorporate some of his best practices, tips, and tricks into what I do in my daily struggle to make money in 2020 as a landlord. Guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please leave a comment down below. If you've read Tom's book, or if you're gonna get it, let me know. And if you have a book out there you'd like me to review, also leave that down below as well. Check his channel out, Flip Anything USA, Tom Mckay, and I appreciate you guys watching. We'll catch you next time.